One of the more important aspects of storytelling for me is definitely time management, continuity, all the while making sure that as time flows, things happen simultaneously, not in some waves. This has been again discussed here previously, but I wanted to add on top of that something that I would like to make sure that some parts of the world are not stagnating, aren't suspended in some sort of a stasis, while the protagonist is continuing performing his adventures elsewhere and only unfreeze the moment he enters those aforementioned parts so that the plot can happen, the protagonist can and should be sometimes late, sometimes miss certain events, certain people that he might be looking for, meaning to meet them. All the while, also, I want to avoid having my protagonist chase the proverbial carrot on the stick, being constantly rushed from place to place after a certain item that will unlock the rest of the plot, but also make sure that the world is living and that even the characters whose point of view I am not describing do have their own agenda. They perform their own feats, they create their own timeline that can sometimes clash with the protagonists and thus get revealed to the reader as well. And the truly difficult part of all of this that I've been talking about for the past 100 videos or so is to avoid all those pitfalls, all the things that can and do make me lose interest in a story, all that while also writing an enjoyable one. Will I end up having to compromise on something? Am I going to have to cut some corners when it comes to my own ridiculous demands? Or is there a way for me to truly match these two requirements and actually write something that would be that I would find interesting and that would not make me quit after the very first chapter or skip through half of the book in desperate search of something. I do find the story that I'm currently writing at least interesting, but can I just state confidently with certainty that it is what I'm looking for in all aspects? Absolutely not. And I do not think that will change even after I am done writing the core of the story, the ending, and then go back and do the multiple rounds of rewrites and cuts that I already know it is going to need for me to even consider actually reading it as a story and not something that I wrote. Somehow, though, putting those ideas that I do have, and I still have more that I would like to put on a paper or, well, into a writing software. It is something that I'm looking forward to. At the very least, it is definitely something that is forcing me to somehow systematically work on my English, on my foundation, on my spelling, on my vocabulary, grammar. I am forcing myself to learn commas, all the while going through details, questions that can remain unanswered as long as the idea stays where it belongs in my head. But now when it's finding its way out, the mind, the brain have work to do, and it is definitely doing me good. And if I am somehow able to incorporate all these little nitpicks that I have, all these insane demands, well, no one else is going to do it for me. They are definitely that ridiculous. So if I am the only person who I am writing for, I can at least give it a shot and put in the effort. Nevertheless, a great peril has befallen the Rapid Arrows. Redcap has been taken hostage. The man shuts the door and locks it, overpowers the desperately resisting Redcap, ties him down, and counters the threats of the other boys that they will call the police with some of his own, that if police does appear, it will not end well for their friend. So despite their desperate pleas for him to release their friend, he is ruthless and unrelenting and clearly states his demands. He will leave the cabin alone, lock them inside when they are all in, and then disappear before they can break themselves out, and warns them that he is armed so as to discourage any attempts to outsmart him. And so the Rapidaros retreat further into the forest to get ready. The safer choice seems to be to obediently enter the cabin and allow the thief to lock them in, but someone from the silhouette and the events that will take place, I think that it is Speedy, offers an alternative, considering that they are four and that they are in a good physical condition. They could attempt to overwhelm the man with their combined strength, hopefully without earning themselves a new orifice. And while these plans are brewing outside, inside of the cabin, the man is packing his things into a large backpack while giving Redcap, who is sitting tied to a chair with his face covered, a stern warning that if they even mention him anywhere, he will find them no matter the cost. After a while, he is ready to leave, so he steps outside where the rapid arrows are waiting. He urges them inside, reminding them of his demands. Yindra goes inside first, Speedy is right behind him, and Yarka and Mirek position themselves beside and slightly behind the man. And when he is passing by Speedy in the perfect position for him to take action, and so he does take the shot. Well, in this case, a back kick. It lands. The robber gets successfully disarmed. The rest of the boys immediately pile up on him, with Yarka picking up the now ownerless weapon, turning it against its former owner, proclaiming that any suspicious movement will be met with a proper counteraction, and Speedy showing off quite the level-headedness considering the current situation, displaying concern for Redcap, thus making sure that the other three have the situation under control, that they can handle the man themselves, while he himself rushes into the cabin to untie Redcap and inform him of what is happening inside, and his next step, well, flight, will be towards the nearby village to get some help in escorting the criminal to the nearest police station. And when he gets back from the village, he is accompanied by the man from there, alongside a car that will be used to escort the prospective prisoner to his next destination, while one of the men informs the rapid arrows that they have subdued a criminal who has been terrorizing the area for a few weeks, breaking into as many as 20 different cabins over that period of time, thus doing a great service to the public, even at the expense of their own personal safety. So that's it for this video. Again, a rather significant one in terms of my own understanding of what I actually want from what I write, and I will continue talking about things that I like in the future.